Okay, welcome back, guys, or welcome to this presentation of the Kinghome Thermostat. For this afternoon training session, we're gonna focus a little bit more on the troubleshooting and how to set up properly the thermostat. So this morning, we really focus on installations and setup. And then for you guys as well, on a troubleshooting basis or service as a service tech, you will have to maybe review or do some change in the installation parameter just for fine tune the system. So we're going to review that, and anytime during the presentation you can ask questions. I have my teammate, so Kevin Dupree, with me, who can answer the questions on the chat, or if you want to unmute yourself, we can ask questions at the end of the presentation as well. So let's go. Let's start with the wiring. Just real quick, okay? So this new thermostat use two different uh, physical thermostats. So one will be installed in the mechanical room. The touchscreen thermostat will be installed for the homeowner usage. So basically, there's 4 wire just between those two sets of thermostats. So I put in here a drawing on what the touchscreen thermostat being installed like on the first floor of the house. You have your mechanical room over here where you have your furnace. You have the white thermostats over here where you will have all the connection, the terminals for accessories, output, and stuff. And you have the outdoor unit right here. So it could be like a KU unit or a KD unit. If you're using that Kinghome unit, well, you have all the connection right over here. So let's start with the first connection that I like to do when I'm wiring up all the stuff. It's to start with the common wire. So just making sure you don't forget any common connections. So the touchscreen thermostat doesn't have one. The white one, also the primary thermostat, have a common over here, the outdoor unit, and then your furnace as well. Same stuff for the R terminal, so your 24-volt power. And the most important thing when you're gonna have to troubleshoot those systems is really focus on H1, H2 being connected properly, because you do have a polarity. So those terminals are polarity sensitive. If they are mixed or like you have an issue with those wire, we're gonna see a communication error showing up on the thermostat as E6 on the touchscreen thermostat, or you're gonna see the letters C and O on the white thermostat downstairs in the mechanical room. So basically, it's a communication issue. So there is a problem related to the wiring or the terminal connection on H1, H2. Sometimes you may have some accessories as well. So we can put a optional outdoor temperature sensor, 15 kiloohm, connected to S1, S2. We're going to use the reversing valve powered with the B terminal, so in heating mode for our unit type. Y terminal to call for the compressor to start. It could be like directly on the board for a furnace, or for hair handler, it could be just a wire nut. G terminal will be straightforward to the G terminal, so it's pretty like usual. And one thing that you have to focus on is really like, if you have a furnace installed, you need to power the W from this thermostat. So from the thermostat inside the mechanical room, we're going to use W as the first stage of heat when using a gas furnace. If you have a 2-stage gas furnace, we can use W and W2. But if you have a hair handler, now it's just a little bit different. We're going to use aux as our first stage, or to call for the electric heater to be powered on. So this is the biggest difference in the wiring. So something that you have to pay attention really pretty well, making sure to test it out, or to if you have a call like there's no heat or whatever, making sure that you have the right terminal connected to the system. If you do have some more optional stuff like humidifier, ERV, or a dehumidifier, then you can use all those three different output, so ERV, DH, or HUM, to power it up 24-volt like a coil or a relay or something. So at that point, it's up to you to connect your options there. So looking at the setup for this thermostat. So for sure, you're going to play with a couple of in the menu, the function button, the installation mode, all the stuff. So you want to make sure everything is properly set. So basically, when you are facing the touchscreen thermostat, the biggest number, the number right in the middle here is your set point, your set temperatures is over there. You can use the minus plus sign to uh, increase, decrease the temperature, or you can just click and hold the small dots over here and move all around this bubble to select your set point temperature. Your actual room temperature is displayed on the left side, and your actual humidity level is displayed on the right side. You do have your mode, fan mode, and if you have a schedule inside the thermostat, it could be select from here, and you have the function button over here, so where you can enter the menu and do all the modification you want to do in the installer setup. You have the dates, outdoor temperature. If it's connected to Wi-Fi, it's going to be locally like set with your location. If it's not connected to Wi-Fi, you need to have this 15 kiloohm sensor outdoor connected to S1, S2 to have this display over here. The time of the day will be here, and then there's some icon over here. So basically, the Wi-Fi icon is there. If you have a child lock, it will be locked like this. And if you see like this red dot over here in the top right corner, that's because you have an error code. You are facing a problem with the system. So whenever you have this red dot over here, that's because you have a problem, or there's something wrong with the system. Also, another important things to know is whenever you have to do some adjustment inside the menu within the functions, you need to set the thermostat to off mode before changing anything inside of it. So basically, when the system is in heat mode or cool mode, you won't have access to all the settings. So it needs to be off prior to change anything inside the installation menu. Even like if you're working from the mechanical room, working on the white thermostat, there's two different there's two installers set up here that doesn't appear on the the touchscreen controller. And the thermostat set over here needs to be to primary, and the communication that we use is 24 volt. So you don't have to change those settings. They are by default like this, and they have to stay like this. All the rest of the installer setup or in the menu or everything is accessible via the white thermostat or the touchscreen. You can do both ways. So you can you can program from the white thermostat directly from the mechanical room, or you can go upstairs talking with your customers and program the systems right in front of them. So there's the two ways are good to go. Inside the user function, there's a selection called the dual fuel. So at that point, you can select smart mode or standard mode. Smart mode is only available when Wi-Fi is properly connected, and the account on Kinghome Plus app that we're gonna discuss a little bit further into in the slide are properly set up. If it's not on Wi-Fi, then you will have to use standard mode. So at that point, you won't use the cloud to perform the algorithm to switch over your balance point from the gas price or electricity price, and you won't have access to the outdoor temperature until you hooked that optional outdoor sensor. Humidifier, ERV, dehumidifier are some options that you can enable or disable with the on-off option. And you do have a humidity set point. So this is a sliding bar that you can adjust to the desired room level humidity inside the house. Also, there's a 5% differential between dehumidifying and humidifier. So basically, there's a dead band of 5%. Still in the user setup, there's a system memory on off. So basically, if you set it on off and you lose power to the systems, or you open the furnace panel and the power goes off, then when you reapply power to it, the system will go in off mode. If system memory is active, then it will reset and going to the last mode the system was using. So if it was heat mode, then it will be on heat mode. There's a child lock even on the smart thermostat, the touchscreen thermostat or the white thermostat. Basically, if you don't want your customer to touch the screen or to do some stuff around it, so you can lock the screen. If you want to unlock it, it's not really a big deal. You just have to press and hold for 5 seconds in the middle of the screen. There's a Wi-Fi resets over here also. So whenever Wi-Fi is really difficult or you're not able to find the Wi-Fi function within the app, you can reset the Wi-Fi from the device directly. So at that point, the app can restore or can search again for the Wi-Fi signal. You can also adjust the language, so you can put it in English or in French. You have a display that you can adjust the brightness of the screen and also the lock screen time. So basically, after that lock screen timer is passed, the touchscreen thermostat will go blank. So it will be black, okay? You can adjust the lock screen from 15 seconds to 30 minutes. So basically, when you touch the screen, it will be light up till like 30 minutes. Voice, it's mostly about when you're touching the screen, you will hear a small beep sound. So now if you put it on off, when you're touching the screen, there's no sound at all. You can adjust time, 12 hours display or 24 hours display. You can synchronize time with the app when the homeowner is registered on Kinghome Plus, or you can set it to off and adjust time manually as well. You can select from Celsius Fahrenheit. You can add also a filter cleaner reminder from nothing, so off, up to 24 months. Service hotline is not in use. This feature is only dedicated for via the app. Minimum cool point set point is a sliding bar where you can lock the minimum set point for cooling or for the maximum heat point in heating. So basically, if you just want to make sure your customer will not go lower a certain point, like you don't want your customer to set the thermostat at 10 degrees, for example, you want to lock that maybe 16, 18. You have the ability to do it. Same thing for maximum heat set point. You don't want to adjust the maximum set point to 32 degrees Celsius, for example. You want to uh, make a barrier like for 28 or 30, then you can adjust it. Installation setup. So now we're talking about what the guys already done during the installation. So maybe you guys on the service call, you just want to look over, just making sure every selection was good. So on the outdoor type, there's heat pump or air conditioner. By default, we're always using heat pump. Four-way valve reversing, every Kinghome unit is powered by the B terminal in heating mode. So this is the default setup that we put inside this thermostat. For example, if you need to power it up like another brand that they are using O to power it up the reversing valve in cooling mode, then you can do the selection over here. Indoor unit type, there's 3 indoor unit type. By default, we're gonna use a hair handler, so you have to make that change to put it on a single stage furnace or a 2-stage furnace. Inside the installation setup, there's some adjustment dedicated only for air handler. And there's another slide, and we're going to see it right after, that is only dedicated to furnace. So you have to be aware of it. You have to make sure you understand it like properly. When you see aux, this is dedicated for air handler indoor unit. So if you have selected a gas furnace, for example, then those setup won't work, okay, typically. But we can give you like the definition like on every setup there. So aux on timer is really a delay whenever you want to start the heat strip with the heat pump, because this is the big difference between those two setups is when you have a hair handler, you can use your heat pump and your heat strip powered simultaneously. So basically, they can run together. So Y terminal and aux terminal can be powered at the same time. So we can add a timer, a time delay from 0 to 100 minutes, 120 minutes, sorry, to call for the backup heat to be engaged. Maximum activate temperature for aux. This is an indoor room temperature lockout of aux. So basically, for example, you've set that temperature to 21. If it's more than 21 inside the room, the heat strip don't have rights to be powered. Okay, so they will no run for the heat strip if it's over that lockout. Aux on temperature differential, where it's you set a differential settings from your set point. So for example, if the room temperature is 20, you ask for 22, and you have put a differential of 1 degree Celsius, then you do have permission to power up the heat strip at the same time. Satisfy room temperature with aux. This is where you have to have a good understanding of this one. By default, it's gonna be off. Okay, so this is just a sliding on-off button. It will be gray. So default off. We use aux on temperature differential. So it's aux on timer or aux on temperature differential. It's just one or the other. You can adjust both, but you can choose only one to run during that period. So if you put it off, we're going to use the temperature differential. If you put it on, then you disable this one to activate the timer that you have set already. We do have the same kind of feature using a gas furnace. So now, using a gas furnace, when the indoor settings is as a gas furnace, Y and W cannot be powered at the same time. Okay, so it will be heat pump or heat pump off and then furnace on. Dual fuel switch outdoor temperature is there to adjust your balance point to disable the heat pump and only run the furnace below that point. Dual fuel switch timer, same stuff. You can put a timer, a time delay before switching off the heat pump and turning on the gas furnace. Minimum operation timer for furnace. This one is not in use, so you don't have to do anything with this one. But it's meant to be like just a delay to avoid short cycling. Okay. Satisfy room temperature with dual fuel, where it's this one again. You're gonna have to choose if you want to use the temperature differential or you want to use the switch timer. So basically you have here the next one, temperature on dual fuel on temperature differential. So for example, you can put it on 2 degrees Celsius differential, or you can use a timer saying after like 30 minutes runtime of the heat pump, I want to cancel the heat pump and power on my gas furnace. And we have a stage 2 timer only available when you have a 2-stage furnace selected previously. So now you had a timer between your W and W2. So there's a time delay over here. So now the next feature are for both of the systems, so air handler or gas furnace. You have the ability to adjust a temperature display revise, so a temperature offset. Basically, these kind of feature are mainly focused on like you have a complaint from your customer saying in their room they're feeling like 20 or they have like another temperature display or another sensor over the thermostat, and there's a difference between like the reading temperature on the thermostat and that other sensor, then you can adjust it from -5 to +5 temperature degrees Celsius. Cool swing temperature or heat swing temperature are only in use when you are in auto mode, so automatic. If you have selected heat mode or cooling mode, those one will not be active. So only in auto mode where you adjust the temperature to your balance point between heating and cooling. So you can choose whatever deadband you want to implement inside the thermostat. Compressor on timer is a time delay value from 1 to 15 minutes to power on the Y terminal from the thermostat. So basically, you can add a time delay inside the thermostat if needed, well, from 1 minute minimum. Minimum compressor operation timer, it's a different operation. It's meant to be like whenever Y is active, it will be still active from 1 to 6 minutes. So that is just to make sure compressor will get enough oil moving in the moving parts, so lubrication will going well, and also to avoid some sort of short cycling as well. So yeah, the system will run for a minimum of 1 minute whenever it's powered. Fan off timer, this is just a time delay value to keep the G active whenever the heat or cool demand is off. So basically, you can adjust it from 0 to 10 minutes, meaning whenever your gas furnace or your heat pump is in the heat mode and you want to just blow some air after the heating process, just to make sure you cool down the coil or you cool down the combustion chamber as well. So you can run maybe the fan like a minute and a half after that the heat call is ended. Do you have any questions regarding the setup right now? Do we have questions on the chat? No,
questions
seems
in the
good.
chat.
All right. Okay, so let's go. Let's get forward with the good stuff. So Wi-Fi setup. Okay, you have to be aware of how to do it. So basically, you will encourage your the homeowner to download the app from Apple or Google Store, called Kinghome Plus app. Okay. This app, they have to register, create a new account, putting basic information on Wi-Fi locations and all the stuff, making sure everything's available, so we can connect with the cloud and we can activate the smart control of this thermostat. This is what it's meant to be, making sure we can use always the cheaper unit to run. So whenever it's electricity or gas, so we want to use that algorithm most of the time, but it needs to be properly set. So uh, basically, whenever the app is ready, you will have a small dot. Maybe, yeah, right here. There's a plus sign. You will see a small red dot right here. So the systems, the app recognize there's a device with Wi-Fi that is able to connect. So you can just click it and connect it. It will be added to this account. Or if this red dot is not present, then you can go and manually add, for example, the color screen thermostat, or you can click on Wi-Fi reset to make sure the Wi-Fi process will be engaged again. So this is two different ways you can reset or find the thermostat to connect it with the app. The white thermostat is also Wi-Fi capable. So basically, if you want to, you can add this one as well, but it's not mandatory. You can have only one or the other. It doesn't. You don't have to have both of them on the app. But it's a good thing to know that yes, you will see maybe two devices when you will try to connect to the app. So this is an example right here when the thermostat is connected. So we have a touchscreen thermostat over here, and that application is also good for our ductless device. So whenever you have a high wall unit that is Wi-Fi capable from Kinghome, you can add those systems as well to the app. But here you're gonna see that screen. So now the thermostat is off. So if I clicked and push on the that blue screen, I'm gonna open this window over here. And so I can see my mode is off, my fan is automatic. I see my indoor temperature, indoor humidity. And then what it needs to be is to uh, adjust here the parameter using the three little dots over here. So you have to click on this icon. It will roll out this area menu. And then you have device detail where you can change the name of the thermostat. You have the service provider. So you need to use Kinghome as your service provider all the time. And this is where you're gonna input your gas price, electricity price, location acquisition, installation, installer information like the phone number of the company, and also the engineering settings for the cloud settings. So basically, gas price, electricity price, location, and engineering settings are mandatory to be filled properly to engage the smart control. So gas price is pretty straightforward. Like you can use those type of website like Energy Shop, put in the zip code that you are in, and check for natural gas price or electricity price in the sector. So really, if you have a different peak during the day, so it's good to know exactly what hour they are and what will be the cost using electricity or gas. So when we are setting gas price, the number we are looking for is that cent per Q meter. Okay, so this number over here, this is the value we want to bring into our gas price. On the electricity price point, well, it's really depend. Some provinces only have one price during all day or weekend, so you will enter the same pricing. Um, in Ontario, it will be different, so you may have different time of use, depends on your utility provider. So you have to do like just a bit of research or ask your customer to give you that list to make sure you will adjust all time of use properly. So what we are trying to focus on is really to enter every line needs to be filled out with a detail. Okay, you cannot leave anything blank. You need to have an information inside every line. Okay. So there's some rules, okay, that you have to know before you set up this menu. So first thing first, we're gonna select some summer period. Okay, so you can select the summer period, like for in this example, it's May to September. Now, on a weekday, we have 4 different time of use. Okay, so the most important thing to know is to start with 00 and it must end with 00. And you cannot overlap time. Okay, you cannot overlap hours. So in this example, time of use number 1, so from midnight to 7 a.m., I'm going to use 7.6 cent per kilowatts. Okay. So maybe this is on my low rate. That's good. From 7 a.m. to 11 a.m., I'm going to use like I'm on the mid peak. So maybe 12.2 cents per kilowatt. And now my time of use number 3, I'm on the high period, so high cost of electricity. So from 11 to 7 p.m., it's really costly. So now I will input like that price over here. And to end it out with the last time of use from 7 a.m. to midnight again, it will be like on the low rate. So I'm going to input that. So what it's going to happen is that HAP or will call for the next heating period. So this algorithm, it's only meant to be used in heat mode. Whenever you have to change between heat pump or gas furnace, okay? So basically, when the algorithm based on the COP of the system will do all the calculation to make sure they will start the cheapest utility using electricity or gas. So during my time of use number 3, for example, if it's pretty cold outside, but not enough to bring my balance point to switch over, then the cloud can also set, okay, the gas is cheaper at that point, so gas will start right away. So this is a great advantage using this thermostat because it will greatly help the customer to save money. And then you have to just be aware of, like, it will not start the heat pump at that point because now electricity is pretty costly. So it's gonna start up the furnace right away. Moving forward with the weekend, we have to do the same kind of stuff. So starting with at midnight, hand it out at midnight as well, and you will input your rate for the weekend. Okay, it could be different, could be the same. So it really depends on like whatever region you are. Moving forward with those rates, okay, now we have done summer period. Now we have to do the same stuff, but in winter period, because maybe sometime the rate will change over summer versus winter. So we have to select the right month. So different from the previous one, for sure. You cannot overlap month. So the first one was May to September. Now I'm October to April. So I'm covering the full year. And for my weekday, I'm covering a full 24-hour setup. So from 00 ending to 00, put in all my rate, all my stuff. Same stuff for the weekend as well. So we're going to use the same pattern, but you just have to do it twice. And you cannot save till you have filled out properly all the lines over here. So the systems will not allow you to save it. So if you click back, you will lose everything. Okay, so you have to done it like once and for all for the very first time. Um, Maybe you will struggle for the very first time, so you can also call us. You can email us. You will have access to the slide. You have this example with you. So this is the kind of stuff we are building up to help you the best we can. And but whenever you are struggling with that, you can reach out to Kevin or I or Argon and to any one of our team to have more explanation about it. The last thing we need to adjust is the engineering settings. So now that we have implemented our pricing for the gas and electricity, now it's time to say to the system, like, what are you running? So in the engineering setting, you can adjust like your outdoor temperature switch balance point. So it could be like for a KU system, it could be at minus 10 degrees Celsius. You can also select a fan delay shutdown time. So again, we already previously done it via the installer setting. If you change in the app, it will also communicate that inside the thermostat, so it will change accordingly. And the most important one is the model selection. So you have to tell to the system what you have installed. So for example, if you have a cold climate heat pump, so the KU model, a 3-ton system, you just have to click here and the algorithm will select the COP from that unit, okay? If it's set as a 2-ton, you just click on the 2-ton. Same stuff if you have an Eco heat pump saying it's the KD model, now you just select the right tonnage you have installed. So basically the algorithm is different for each unit, okay, at that point. We suggest for you guys the heat pump to be to adjust your balance point for a KU about -10, and we will suggest for a KD about like 0 degrees Celsius. But it's up to you to adjust it. Some customer wants to have like maybe this, if you have an ACO a KD unit installed, maybe they want to have the balance point at 5 degrees Celsius or 3 or whatever. So they will switch over, the system will switch over to the furnace at that point. Now that you have done all the setup for the smart control to be active, now we want just to make sure it is active. So when you go back to the main screen, you have two little arrow here. You can slide it up, and then you have this menu here that it will be shown. And if everything is set properly, Smart Control will be in blue. If it's still gray, that's because something went wrong when doing the engineering settings or the gas price or electricity price selection. Something went wrong. So if it's blue, now the smart control is active, and on the touchscreen thermostat, you will see the wording "smart" appearing on the thermostat. If it's not active, it will be a gray button like this. You can also check out a usage report. So for example, whenever the customer is running the systems for many days, you can have a nice report showing what is the percentage of use of the heat pump versus the gas furnace. So you can have like all those settings as well available inside the app. And also you can add a schedule via the app. So if the customer wants to have the system start at that time, ending at that time, and he wants to create a schedule, it's most likely, well, it's much easier to use the app to perform it instead of clicking buttons and stuff on the thermostat. So you can just sitting on your couch and doing everything via the app. It's really straightforward. You just select your temperature, period of the day, hours. You can set up multiple agenda, and you choose which day you want this schedule to be active. So in blue, it's active. In gray, it's disabled. So during this presentation, we saw like a couple of pictures of the thermostat. Actually, it's not looking exactly like this one, so this picture is not really accurate, but it's just for you to know, it will be like this, but you can always refer to the installation manual, or you can always reach out to us to have more details. Now we're gonna go into like troubleshooting, but before that, do you have any more questions regarding the smart mode, the algorithm? Uh, Whenever you have some questions, we can take a couple of minutes there, or we can review it at the end of the presentation. No questions on the chat, Kevin?
Oh, still nothing.
All right.
Guess everyone gets it. So
Okay, so now troubleshooting, guys. Troubleshooting
Sorry, guys, I do have
is,
a question.
oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I guess someone with the text in my center are just asking, what is the whole purpose of having both thermostats? Like you're putting one in the basement if they have a basement, if it's a standard just one level house, you're just putting it on just keeping them separated, but what's the whole purpose of having the two different thermostats?
Well, for using R14A, the purpose of having two thermostat is to give you the option of the 4 wires. Like if you're putting the only the white thermostat, you do have all those connections to so you need to have like about 6 wires to be able to connect everything to your furnace or outdoor unit.
Yeah. Okay.
So the purpose was just to give you a nice display for the customer and also use only 4 wires to achieve it.
Got it, okay, because sometimes you can't gain access to fish the wire and you only have 4 wires, so yeah, that makes sense. And
Yeah.
then you can utilize this.
And I do have one more question. In the event that you're in like a slab home or there's no basement, would you just mount your mechanical room thermostat like on the ductwork and then put their thermostat on the wall, or how would you want that done?
Yeah, you can do it like this. Basically, I use a junction box. So there's some old, well, the picture here is maybe not really accurate, but you have some old that if you have a junction box, you can use those 2 holes right here and you can install that back plate on a junction box. And it's pretty much easier to do all the connections and all the stuff.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Because that white thermostat will not read the temperature, the room temperature. The only one who is reading room temperature is the touchscreen thermostat at the moment. So getting back to troubleshooting, guys. So H1, H2 is a RS485 communication line. So basically, this is not really something you can easily measure whenever you are with your multimeter. But there's still a way that we can find if there's a problem or not with that thermostat. So basically, the white one, the white thermostat, the one that is in the mechanical room, is the sender. Okay, so on H1, H2, right here, you will have a pulsating value from -5 to +5 volt DC. Okay, so it will always fluctuating. Depends on how is your multimeter. Sometimes the cheaper model won't measure they are not really accurate to measure pulsating value in DC voltage. Whenever you have a fluke or something like a little bit better as a tool, then you will be able to catch it. Okay, but there's a pulsating value. This is what we are looking for. So those terminal here are pretty small. Okay, but if you have some micro leads, you can easily put it from the back plate, put it in, read it, insert it inside those little hole right here, and then you can read the value. So for example, if you have a E6 communication error between the master thermostat and the touchscreen thermostat, so between those 2 sets of thermostat, this is really related on H1, H2, like this is a bad like a bad connection or a bad wire or something's wrong with that. You can use LVT to make your connection. So you don't have to have a shielded wire, but it will be recommended if you are in a high magnetic field environment. So sometimes it's really just because you are near like a plant, or you have there's some high magnetic field around you. So maybe sometime that can create a communication issue. So at that moment, using a shielded wire will help you out. But for main purpose, so you won't need to have a shielded wire. But whenever you are testing that H1, H2 over here, you need to see a pulsating value from -5 to 5 volt DC. On RNC right here, you will have a straight 24 volts AC coming from your transformer from your gas furnace. So basically, the best way to measure it is like you can pop up the touchscreen thermostat right here. So you see, you cannot just put it out from the wall, okay? You see on that picture, you have some hook, okay? So there's some sliding portions over here. So you have to lift up and then pull the thermostat, because you have some anchors over here. It needs to enter into that slide and you push it down when you installed it. So when you removed it, you have to put it up and then pull. All the connection will be directly at the back of the thermostat itself. It's not on the plate, on the back plate. So you need to have enough wire to put it out, okay? Those terminals, you will see H1, H2, and your common and power from your 24 volt transformer. So now you can check directly on those terminal right here if you do have a pulsating value of -5 +5. This is the easiest way to find it out. Or you can disconnect the wire and check on the wire directly if you have that pulsating value. So for example, if you don't read it from here, that's maybe because the other thermostat is not properly connected, or there's a break in the wire, there's something wrong with that. If you do have, for example, the pulsating value and the thermostat is still not communicating, then maybe the thermostat can be defective at that point. So whenever you are using like the system, so I just put out a schematic there of a KD unit, okay? So this is the outdoor units over here, and there's a call like no heating. So you call for heat, the heat pump is not running. Then what you have to do is making sure from the outdoor connections right here, you do have a power to Y, you have power on B, and you have power on G if it's on the thermostat. So you need to power up the fan as well. But at the outdoor unit, you will have power on Y and B, because B is powered. It's meant to be powered, the reversing valve in heating mode. So basically, when you look at that board right here, the 24 volts just stop there. So we don't use 24 volts to in any like protective source inside the KD unit or the KU unit. So we will use DC voltage from our low pressure switch, for example, or stuff like that. So the 24 volt will just stop at the connections right there. So if you do have power over here, so it's not a thermostat issue. It's meant you need to look for something else. But if you don't have power between C and Y, so you always have to put your probe on your common port and then follow your 24-volt lead. So if you do not have power between C and Y, C and B, so this is meant to be like a connection issue, or it's coming from the thermostat. It's not from the heat pump. So you just have to make sure you do like a clear difference between it's a internal issue from the wiring or thermostat or furnace, or it's an external issue like with the outdoor unit or so. Same stuff if you don't have cooling, where now cooling, we don't use the B terminal, so it will be C and Y, and from the thermostat will be powered at the G as well. If you don't have heating using the furnace, now it's really important just to check at your terminal on your furnace directly if you do have 24 volt between C and W1, for example. If you do, now this is not a thermostat issue because your thermostat is calling. If you don't, when now it's good to just double check what terminal is in use inside this white thermostat, so the master's thermostat over here. Because if it's an air handler, you will use aux over here to power up the air handler. If it's a gas furnace, you will use W to power up that gas furnace. So maybe there's a wrong connections over here. So that's this kind of stuff you need to check whenever you are doing the troubleshooting. So if there's no outdoor temperature display at the thermostat, it means two things. So there's two ways to activate the outdoor temperature. It's via the app, so using the smart control. So if smart control is disabled, we will lose the location, we will lose the Wi-Fi settings. You are still able to control via the app, the thermostat, but you will use the location of your device. So basically the outdoor temperature will not be able to be displayed accurately, or it will show like 0 degrees Celsius. So you need to go back to the app, making sure everything is up and running to use the smart mode. Or if you are in standard mode, you need to have an extra 15 kiloohm sensor connected to the outdoor unit on S1, S2 at the thermostat. So at that point, we do have some sensors, 15 kiloohm sensors. I don't have the parts number with me though, but that's the kind of information we can share with you guys after the presentation. But this is the kind of stuff if the homeowner wants to have like his outdoor temperature without using Wi-Fi, it will be on S1, S2. So if you still like losing Wi-Fi or losing the connection there, so the smart control is on and then off, sometimes you can perform a Wi-Fi reset. So directly at the thermostat, you can perform that Wi-Fi reset. If the LAN controller is like maybe it's a long distance between the thermostat and this controller, like maybe it will be tough to check for the connection. So it needs to be like maybe a boost in the Wi-Fi or something like that. But the thing is, you can also always reset that Wi-Fi function without touching anything else inside the thermostat. So anymore, you won't lose any other feature that you already used. But you can reset the Wi-Fi and then just wait till the Wi-Fi icon on the thermostat is blinking 5 second, 0.5 second on and off. So it means that the reset is successful, and then you can automatically search for the device again, or you can manually check with the app so to find out the system. But whenever you have like automatically find those device right here, the first one that you will see on the left side will be your touchscreen thermostat. So you just need to add one system to the app. You don't need to add both of them. The master thermostat also can be locked if you don't want the homeowner to come down at the mechanical room and play with that thermostat. So the only use of this one is for you guys, like when you are doing like maintenance on the system or you are doing some troubleshootings and you are in front of the furnace. The great thing about it is you don't have to pull out the jumper wires or all the stuff. You can just perform a heat cool demand directly using the thermostat, so you don't have to basically play with the wires and do all the stuff around. But if that thermostat is locked, you see here there's two function buttons, so function 1 and function 2. So if you press both of them for a couple of seconds, it will lock the thermostat. So you will see like a lock icon appearing on it. And if you click and hold it for another like couple of seconds, you will unlock it. Okay, so that feature, the homeowner doesn't have to know about it. So basically, he will not play around that thermostat. So this one, it's only dedicated for you guys to work with it. Also on this one, so on the white thermostat, it could be you could have like a schedule active. So basically, we were facing that. Like I think I had a call one time where that customers complains about like during at night there's no more heat inside the house, but during the day it was good, it was okay. So we went on site and checking around. Everything was well connected. Everything was fine. And then out of the sudden, we were playing with the schedule. And so we saw that icon here. So the text message saying weekly schedule. So on wake time or it's active. Okay. So basically, the default schedule set point is 16 degrees in heating mode and 24 degrees in cooling mode. So during off period or whenever like it's at night or stuff like that. So basically when the customer plays with the temperature, the system will catch it up, but at the end of that period, it goes back to 16. So it was cold inside the house at that point. So just make sure that you disable um, this schedule function whenever you are working on it. So if you clicked and hold that function button over here, this writings here will disappear, saying that we don't have any schedule active within that white thermostats over here. So no default schedule active, so you can run the system on as usual, like a standard thermostat. So now that will be your time, guys. Whenever you have some questions, some stuff, even on the chat, I don't know. Kevin, do we have something on the chat real quick? Or you can just unmute yourself, ask your questions. We're here to talk about it. We can review slide. We can do whatever we need to give you like the proper support.
I have a quick question. Just to go back to the thermostat, especially on the customer side, is there any battery backup on the thermostat or anything along those lines we have to worry about it affecting the operation of the equipment?
No, there's no battery. It's only powered via the 24-volt transformer.
Thank you.
No worries.
Yeah, Sean?
That schedule, is it just on the master thermostat, or does it correspond to a schedule you can set in the color thermostat as well? Or are they separate? How does that work?
They are separate. For the moment, like everything is communicating well, okay, between both thermostat, except for that schedule. So we saw that we're actively working on this, but we just want to make sure that you are aware of it. So those schedule will be separate. So for example, if you have set a schedule in the white thermostat and then you set a different schedule inside the color screen thermostat, they will have hard time to manage which one. So whenever a period we are, there will be two different schedules calling. So you have to disable one or both of them. So basically, I prefer using the schedule via the app instead of directly on the thermostat. But it's up to your customer at that point. But you just have to be aware that only use that color screen thermostat if you want to implement some schedule and some stuff. Don't touch the other one.
Yeah, Jeremy?
If we run into a problem with either thermostat and we have to replace it, are these gonna come separate or as a package? If you have a problem with one, as best practice, you replace both, or are they still gonna be separate as like repair parts?
When you are buying it upfront, you will always receive both of them. But for warranty purpose, we can send you only one or the other. So that's why it's really, really important to just make sure which one is defective, or we can change both if something's really up. But for example, if it's a communication issue and you are able to pinpoint the fact that you don't have any pulsating value from the white thermostat, then we can send you only the white thermostat then.
Okay.
Thank.
All right, Joe?
Going back to the schedule, sometimes the customers play with them and then you get there and it's all messed up and they don't want to deal with the schedule anymore. How do we go about just clearing the schedule and getting that off the screen again?
Yes, you can just disable the scheduling. Like you can like implement all the schedule, but there's an option, just a switching button when you can disable or enable the schedule at any time.
Fantastic, thank you.
No worries. So I put also like the tech support number is on the screen. As I said, you will have access to all the slides, all the stuff we were talking today. So even like this presentation and the previous one will be on our YouTube channel, and I'm going to share with your teams as well. So you can review it, you can pass it to other, you can discuss about what is what type of problem or experience you may have. Give us some feedback as well. It's always good to know because we are developing this thermostat and it's a like work in progress. So for sure there was a demand there. where we want to make sure we are always using the cheapest utility instead of just switching over the balance point. But it's good to have your feedback, guys, as well. So at any time you can call us, we can discuss about it. You can also email us, and whenever you have like warranty or technical problem, you will refer to my team. So as with Kevin, my teammate over here, so we can always give you all the answers, all the stuff that you need right when you are on site. So this is what we are mainly focused on. It's you guys, when you are on site struggling with it, don't be afraid, give us a call.
I will mention that tech support number has 3 guys on rotation. So if one person doesn't pick up, it's going to go to the next one. So that way there's no one that's just stuck on a job site without any help. Joe, do you still have a question or just still got your hand up?
Oh, sorry.
No, I was like, oh, maybe you thought of something else. I was like, all right, dang, let's go.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
All right, so well, we're gonna Sean.
Yeah, guys, sorry, one last one I just thought of. As far as the optimization goes, so you set your threshold, you set your balance points up. It's going to operate based on economy. It will select the cheapest fuel, whether that be your auxiliary or your electricity, and it will bypass whatever balance points you have set up based on economical points. Is that how it works? So it's going to save the customer money and operate whichever one's cheaper at whatever given time.
Yeah. So basically, the balance point is really meant to be to cancel the system, the heat pump, whenever you reach out that outdoor temperature, when the heat pump is not effective enough to bring enough heat to fight against the heat loss inside the house. So that's the balance point really meant to. But even like, for example, it's 0 degree outside, you have set your balance point to -10 because you're using a KU system. And then, well, your electricity price goes up during a peak period, and you don't want to use heat pump at that point. So you don't want to go at the thermostat and just play with the mode or switching your balance point, moving in around. So go back and forth and do some adjustment. So we went with this idea where we are using our COP. So based on, well, this is really like where math is going to be involved there. It's like calculating the COP of the unit, the electricity price point versus your gas price point on which period of that day, and then we're going to start up with the cheaper units to run. So if your cost of electricity went really high during a certain peak period of the day, that will cancel the heat pump. So you will not use electricity from the heat pump, and it will go straight to gas. So this is why we always trying to run the cheapest at that point. And moving forward, like maybe we don't know in the near future what will be the gas price point. Maybe we will face some raise or whatever, but the algorithm will always be there to manage what is the cheaper utility to start with.
Perfect, thanks. And then I guess if rates change, which they do, they would need to be programmed in, right? Like when you put your postal
Yes.
code in, it doesn't recognize this stuff. You have to tell
No.
it what
You
you're
have
paying.
to tell
Okay,
it.
perfect.
Yes.
Okay, that's great. You explained it well. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, so thank you guys. I think we cover it all. Anytime, if you have questions, don't be afraid, give us a call. So as I said, I will share the presentation, I will share the video with you, so you can review it. And whenever you have some questions, just give us a call, email, something, just feedback. It's always great to hear from you. Thank you guys. Have a nice rest of the day.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for coming, and talk to you guys soon.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Thank
You
you.
guys too.
Thank you.